Whispers carried on desert winds speak of Kush, a forgotten kingdom cradled by the Nile, south of Egypt. For millennia, from roughly 2500 BCE to 300 CE, Kush flourished, a rival, and sometimes ruler, of its northern neighbor. Its immense wealth stemmed from gold mines, iron production, and the control of vital trade routes connecting sub-Saharan Africa to the Mediterranean world. The Kushites were master builders, erecting pyramids rivaling those of Giza. They worshipped their own pantheon of gods and even conquered Egypt, establishing the 25th dynasty around 760 BCE. Yet, by the 4th century CE, Kush faded from prominence. The traditional narrative points to military defeat by the Ethiopian kingdom of Aksum. But was military defeat the only reason? Could a changing climate, resource depletion, and internal strife have played a more significant role in Kush's decline, leaving behind a legacy shrouded in sand and scholarly debate? We begin our journey to unearth the truth. The Kingdom of Kush, often dubbed the Green Kingdom, wasn't merely a footnote to Egyptian history, it was a civilization radiating its own distinct brilliance. For over a millennium, from 800 BCE to 350 CE, Kush amassed wealth from its control of vital trade routes linking Central Africa to Egypt and the Mediterranean world. The fertile lands along the Nile yielded abundant harvests, fueling its rise. Meroe, the later Kushite capital, boasted iron production on a scale rivaling even Rome. Imagine the scene: forges fueled by vast forests, churning out not only weapons, but also the tools needed for agriculture and construction. Unlike Egypt, Kushite rulers, often powerful queens like Amenerinas, held immense authority, commissioning elaborate pyramid tombs at Meroe and Gebel Barkal. Their unique writing system, though still not fully deciphered, hints at a rich literary tradition independent of Egyptian influence. While Kush certainly adopted elements of Egyptian culture, worshipping a moon and building pyramids, they reshaped them into something distinctly their own. The Kushite moon, for example, was often depicted with ram's heads, a symbol of power and fertility deeply rooted in Nubian tradition. This fusion created a unique cultural identity, a testament to Kush's sophisticated society and its dominance over the Nubian landscape. How much of the ancient world was truly shaped by this green kingdom? But the sands remember a different story, one whispered by the slow, relentless creep of the desert. The Green Kingdom, once nourished by the Nile's bounty and seasonal rains, faced a foe far more insidious than any army: climate change. Around 300 BCE, subtle, ominous shifts began. Rainfall patterns, the very lifeblood of Kushite agriculture, became erratic. The wadis, seasonal riverbeds that once surged with life-giving water, grew increasingly dry, their fertile banks surrendering to dust. This desertification wasn't a sudden cataclysm, but a gradual, agonizing encroachment. The Sahel, the semi-arid region bordering the Sahara, crept relentlessly southward, consuming precious arable land. The once reliable floods of the Nile became less predictable, leading to devastating crop failures. Archaeological evidence from sites like Meroe reveals a stark decline in agricultural yields. Smaller grain sizes and a shift towards drought-resistant varieties like sorghum tell a tale of hardship. The impact on Kush's economy was devastating. Agriculture, the very foundation of their wealth, faltered. Trade routes, already vulnerable to nomadic raiders, became even more precarious as resources dwindled and competition intensified. The once powerful Kushite kings, who had funded ambitious building projects and maintained a large standing army, found their coffers emptying. The kingdom was slowly being choked by the encroaching sands, a silent, invisible enemy against which even the most skilled archers and iron workers were powerless. Cracks began to spiderweb across the Kushite foundation. Environmental strains only deepened existing fissures within the ruling elite. The priestly class of Napata watched their influence ebb as the royal court shifted to Meroe. This geographic relocation birthed a new power dynamic, igniting rivalries between the old Napatan families and the ascendant Meroitic nobility, both fiercely competing for royal favor and control over increasingly scarce resources. Succession became a brutal battleground. Queen Amanitor's prosperous reign masked the growing resentment of those factions left out. The ambitious Prince Arakankara, sidelined in the succession, allegedly orchestrated minor rebellions in outlying territories, diverting vital resources and sowing seeds of discord. The unrelenting desertification only fueled the flames. Nomadic tribes, displaced by the encroaching sands, raided settled agricultural lands, sparking violent clashes with Kushite farmers. These farmers, burdened by ever-increasing taxes and shrinking harvests, began to openly question the authority of the Meroitic kings, who seemed more concerned with constructing elaborate pyramids than with the well-being of their own people. The result was social fragmentation, leaving Kush fatally vulnerable, its internal strength drained by relentless infighting and simmering discontent. Enemies amassed at Kush's gates. To the north, a resurgent Egypt first under Persian, then Ptolemaic, and finally Roman rule perpetually coveted Kush's resources and strategic location. Roman legions, particularly after their conquest of Egypt in 30 BCE, posed a formidable threat. The campaigns of Petronius culminated in the brutal sacking of Napata in 24 BCE, a stark reminder of Rome's military might. But Egypt was not the only threat. Beyond its northern border, Kush faced constant pressure from nomadic tribes like the Blemis. Driven southward by relentless desertification, they relentlessly raided Kushite settlements. Their increased aggression strained Kush's already dwindling resources. These constant raids targeted vital agricultural lands and crucial trade routes, further weakening Kush's fragile economy and exacerbating simmering internal tensions. The scarcity of arable land and precious water fueled not only external conflicts, but also bitter disputes between Kushite communities, each vying for control of these life-sustaining resources. The once mighty kingdom, now besieged and fractured, struggled to maintain its borders and its very existence. Could Kush survive this perfect storm of adversity? And so, the sands whispered tales of a kingdom fading. Once mighty, Kush, beset by a confluence of disasters, began its long descent. Relentless desertification forced communities to abandon ancestral lands. Internal strife saw power fragmenting among regional warlords. The once unified kingdom dissolved into warring factions. The abandonment of key cities like Narka and Muzawarat Sufra speaks volumes of the economic and social collapse. Archaeological evidence reveals a sharp decline in construction and monumental projects after the 4th century CE, indicating a severe loss of resources and manpower. The final blow came not from a single, decisive battle, but from the relentless pressure of the Nubia to the north, who gradually encroached upon Kushite territory. By 400 CE, the kingdom's distinct identity was largely subsumed, its legacy fading into the sands of time, a testament to the devastating power of environmental change, internal division, and external pressures. Kush's demise echoes today, a stark warning across millennia. The unsustainable exploitation of acacia forests for charcoal production finds a chilling parallel in our current climate crisis. Internal divisions, fueled by resource scarcity and power struggles among regional governors, resonate eerily in contemporary conflicts. The Nubia's encroachment highlights the enduring vulnerability of fractured societies to external pressures. Resilience, social cohesion, and environmental stewardship, these remain the vital, enduring lessons etched in the sands of Kush. They urge us, with increasing urgency, to learn from a kingdom ultimately swallowed by its own making. Considering the interplay of environmental degradation, political instability, and external pressures that led to Kush's obscurity, how can we apply these lessons to address similar challenges facing communities today, and what innovative solutions might prevent history from repeating itself? Share your thoughts in the comments.